Could the Bitcoin price potentially be setting up to hit a target of 11,000 USD at some point in the near future? Or my friends, does this in fact look more so like a classic fake out before a plunge deep down into the crypto abyss? Let's dive in and analyze. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Crypto Kirby here, your cryptocurrency expert, back with another edition of the daily live stream. What is going on, my friends? Today I'd like to discuss Bitcoin and the action we're seeing inside the chart right now. This has been an absolutely heinous monstrosity of a rip here, climbing over 15% to the upside after finding support upon a bull flag breakout around the $8,300 region. Let's get this crypto. And my friends, right now, Bitcoin is finding itself at an incredibly crucial and critical level for the macro trend. My friends, I truly believe that this is either the area where we're going to see the end of the bear market and the beginning of a new bull market, or this may just in fact be one of the most heinous fake outs that we could possibly see in this entire macro trend as a whole. So as a full-time trader, I'd like to discuss with you my strategy, my game plan, and how I plan to crush this market right now in the immediate term. So without any further ado, you guys already know the deal. If you like these daily crypto videos and nightly live streams, smack that thumbs up button, click the subscribe, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Moon the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Moon them up. All right. So we'll begin with our Bitcoin technical analysis. And of course, before we begin, this is not investment advice. This is not trading advice. These are only my own opinions, ideas, and speculative hypotheses on the market. Always do your own research and your own due diligence before investing or trading, as this market is extremely high risk, and I am not your financial advisor. I will never tell you what to do with your trades or investments. That being said, let's begin right here on the one-day time frame. When we zoom out and look at this from a more macro perspective, this is looking, from a structural standpoint, when we omit all of this over here and really just focus on what's happened over here, this is looking quite bullish in terms of a potential reversal of a macro trend. We did have an inverse head and shoulders breakout, rounding bottom, triple bottom, however you'd like to look at it. We then came up upon this purple box, which at the time when trading below it could have acted as a new potential and staunch resistance level, right? To potentially continue this downward sloping trajectory. But it didn't. We actually wound up seeing Bitcoin consolidate at this region, form a bull flag, and then rip up higher into the trend. Then we came up upon the second level of critical tentative resistance, right? Just like the purple box was, and it ripped through. Then we had the red box to test up to. Upon that first test, we got rejected, tested back down to the old purple box resistance, which then became support, inherently and classically textbook bullish. Then we've retested back up, took out the prior high now, which is another potentially bullish confirmation in and of itself. And now, my friends, we really are just flirting with several factors here before this thing looks like the trend of from a macro perspective could potentially be turning into a bull trend, in my opinion. Let's get this crypto. So let's discuss now, okay, from where we're at. So I want you guys to understand that this region, this red box here, has been the most problematic zone for Bitcoin that we've seen since our blow off top at 14,000. The reason that I say this is that we formed a massive level of multi-month support at this region, and after purging through, even after our heinous 40% to the upside candle in one day, we could see here we clearly formed a new zone of macro resistance before capitulating down to what is now the tentative macro bottom here in the $6,000 range. Let's get this crypto. So Bitcoin is right back up at the area where it's had the most trouble. Okay. Now we need to take several things into consideration here. This does look like one gigantic bull flag in and of itself. If that is in fact the case, this may only just be getting started in terms of the bullish action, because we only just took out the prior high, not too long ago. And if this is in fact the case, well, we could use a measured move, right? And we could look for a move of something like this where we could extrapolate it over. Let's pull this up there and see where this would take us. Tentatively looking like it could be around the $11,200 range, right? And that would be a fair assessment to say, oh, well, look, if the extrapolated measured move hits, it could be up in the low $11,000 range, right? It's possible. But I think a better target for this, for the upside, is if we use our Fibonacci extension tool, okay? And where are we right here? Let's get this. There we are. If we pull from the top here, pull to the bottom, we could see that the 618 golden Fibonacci retracement comes in at a very interesting range, and that is right underneath where that bull flag potential extrapolation comes in. Let's draw this again here. We'll move it on up so that we could see this here. Let's drag it over here. And we can see that there is a confluence there. It's not perfect, but with these extrapolations, you're never going to get anything exactly perfect, right? So for me, that is a pretty significant zone to find the confluence. And what's actually even more interesting to me is that we do have a line of confluence in the price here as well. If you could see this, right, ladies and gentlemen, we have multiple touches of wicks up into this range, 3 in particular, right? We have this one here. Then we come over here again, and this created a resistance ceiling, which then ultimately was too hard to get through, and then we wound up capitulating through the floor, right? This was the last line in the sand here, and that is essentially where our 0.618 is right now. So my friends, you see that there is definitely merit that this trend, if the bulls get up there, that could be a point of maximum resistance / a target before a pullback, right? Doesn't have to happen that way, but if this trend does continue to rip like this, this is a zone that I'm potentially going to be focusing on here, as I do see a ton of confluence. Now, I'm sure that the Moon Boys listening to this, especially if you're new to the stream here, if you're, essentially FOMOing back into the market, oh, Kirby, I picked up my YouTubes for the first time in 4 months because Bitcoin's going to the moon. Well, welcome to the stream, little James. Don't freak out. Don't, just chill your giblets. Don't get on the parabolic express without, thinking through your options first, because there's always another side to the equation, right? And although that does look like a potential zone of interest for me, there is also some things going on here that are a little bit startling to me, right? Now, keep this in mind, my friends, that if Bitcoin right now is to pull back, we need to understand where this could potentially fall down to. Also, is there a probability for this to occur before we continue up higher, right? Of course, there's always a probability, but is there a high probability for this to occur? So for me right now, I'd like to start examining the RSI, okay? And what we could see here is that right now, clearly, my friends, there is beginning to be somewhat of a bearish divergence here on the RSI, on the daily, and even if you don't want to look at the divergence, we're up in overbought territory already, right? So that is in and of itself inherently bearish. What we're seeing here as well is that potentially, if we flip over to the 4-hour time frame, this is where we're really starting to get some heavy divergence, ladies and gentlemen. This can all be ignored. Essentially, the bulls could ignore it. I just want it to be on your radar that there is starting to become some heavy potential bearish resistance being built here, right? Downward sloping momentum, downward sloping RSI, upward sloping price action. That is the perfect storm for a bear trap, or excuse me, for a bull trap, especially coming up into this historic range of confluence that I've pointed out for you guys here, right? You see this. And also, let's pull up our Fibonacci extension of this move here. Okay, let's go back to this now, and I'm going to pull the fib from this wick down. So this was our last major swing high, right? This 40% liquidity debacle, right? I really dislike this move here. I mean, this just shows, to me, this is a weakness in the market when it shows that, in a single day, Bitcoin can move up 42%. People that really don't understand this market may see that as, wow, Bitcoin mass adoption. If people just keep buying it, imagine what it could do. It's not really like that, ladies and gentlemen. This, to me, here was a display of, thin order books, whales, algorithmic manipulation, garbage. I really dislike that move, but anyway, I mean, it is there. We can't discredit it, right? So we'll go from wick to wick of the swing high to swing low, and this is a very interesting reading that we're pulling up here, right? And the price right now, my friends, is right at this 0.786 Fibonacci extension, right around 9,500. So when you're looking for targets with this tool, right, just like I showed you that the target for up here is more so, the 0.618 is something that I'm looking at, which is all the way up here. That is target number one for me. But target number two is certainly the 786. I actually, from a bullish perspective, love to target, just one second, one moment. Okay, I actually like to target between these three readings here, right? The 0.5, the 0.618, and the 0.786. I respect them all in and of themselves. But essentially, the 0.786 for me is the last line in the sand. As when we see this level get tested, if we go above this and consolidate above, I mean, that to me is certainly another bullish confirmation, right? That all of the targets were essentially hit, right? The 0.5 around 8,400, then the 0.618 golden around 8,850, and then the 0.786 around 9,500. If all of that gets taken out, I mean, if we can then look for other things such as getting above this box here and consolidating, that is when essentially I start looking at the next move, right? Because it's almost like this move here has been cleared, right? In terms of Fibonacci bullish extension targets. That move has been cleared, which then makes me have to go to the next move, right? Which then for me would be taking this entire macro swing, which then puts the 0.5, the 0.786, and the 0.618 all the way up into this region, which then I'm looking for things like the bull flag confluence, et cetera, to find that next potential target range. Let's get this crypto. So from a bullish perspective, I hope you guys see what I'm looking at there, right? Now, let's look at this from a bearish. And just so you guys know, I'm still long a little bit, right? I still have a little bit of my long position on the table. Shout out to my VIPs. You guys know I've kept you updated here with my trades in real time. I got long at 8,288 upon all of those divergences there that you can see on your screen right now. And I still am a bit long. About 25% of my position is still long. I have been taking profits in this region, as you guys see that there are potential bearish divergences playing out. So I am protecting my profits, but I am also still long at this point in time. And I do have a stop loss in place up above the $9,000 region, so that if this does pull back, I will take more profits and then be looking for my next trade. So if you guys do want to see my trades in real time, my trade setup ideas, my strategies, all of it, I will be keeping you updated in VIP with that exclusively. So if you're not already in my VIP, well, my friends, today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. I will see you in VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto. Okay, and now, my friends, from the bearish perspective, if we are to drop back down, well, let's use a fib retracement, and we're going to go right from here to this swing high. And this isn't really valid yet because of this. You don't know if this is the top yet, right? But we'll swing it. For me, I would be looking for targets back below the $9,000 region. There is certainly a valid there is a valid argument here to see that this $9,100 region could be held as old resistance, then turns into new support. It's just that the indicators are a little hot, right? The RSI is a little hot. The MACD is still a little hot. So for me, I would be expecting a larger pullback. And this brings me over now to the Bitcoin futures chart, the CMEs here, where we have to understand that there are still gaps here Now, the 92.55 and the 92.15 gap actually did fill on the spot chart today. It didn't fill here in the futures market, but it did fill in the spot chart. Ironically, it wicked down and wicked back up. But keep it in mind, there are still these two gaps here. They don't need to fill, but historically, we've seen so many of these gaps fill, which I have outlined. You guys see in the yellow are lines there that have essentially been gap fills, right? So we've seen them fill many times in the past. We do have looming gaps down in that range. And as I just showed you with the Fibonacci's, we'll actually do it on here just so you see. It really doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility to potentially test down here, right? Where we do see that confluence with the 0.786 there as well for a potential deep retracement, right? That's just more so of a bearish target. Okay, let's get this crypto. But if we go back now to the regular chart here, just be aware that, my friends, if we are to break above this red box, we are then also on the daily flushly above the 200-day moving average at that point. Any consolidation above here, letting these indicators cool off, and then finding that support would be essentially incredibly bullish, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, right? I mean, all we can do is look at this from a probabilistic point of view, right? Even if we do consolidate up here, it would look like the probabilities for it to continue higher are certainly there, but it's just a probability, right? It's just technical analysis. This could reverse after that, right? It could be a giant fake out. Nothing is ever perfect. You're just looking for a perceived edge in the market. And for me right now, Bitcoin is flirting with potentially turning this market around. I mean, it seems ridiculous. For so long, we've been in a bearish trend right now, and the price is still underneath this heavy potential bearish resistance zone. But I am seeing the potential here that the tides could be beginning to change here. And you guys know, I like to trade with a macro bias, either bearish or bullish, right? Just as after Bitcoin hit this 0.618 Fibonacci extension target before a blow off top at 14,000, that, my friends, is when I switched into a bearish bias, right? And you guys know I've been looking in this trend for more short opportunities than long, right? And that's why, so many people can't handle this channel. It's too realistic, right? Because I'm always looking in a bearish market more so for shorts than for longs, right? But the Moon Boys, they only want to go long for whatever reason. This technology, Kirby, they don't understand. They're looking to buy and hodl on a lottery ticket mentality. That's not what I do, right? I look to trade this market up and down, long and short. And if we do see that this potentially starts to look like it's a more longer term macro bullish structure, well, my friends, just like I was buying the dip here upon those divergences, my strategy will probably be more long based than short based at that point in time. Of course, I may always throw in some shorts here and there, but when the market shifts, it becomes either a long or short mentality for me. And getting above this region here, consolidating, may start to flip that into a more bullish approach for me personally. Let's get this crypto. So very exciting times here, guys. Like I've stated, I've been in this trade since 82, 88. It's an absolutely insane ride right now. I'm continuing to trade this aggressively here. So if you want to see all of my trades in real time, I will be keeping you up to date with all of my strategies, entries, exits, targets, etc., all for you exclusively in VIP. If you are not already in my VIP, ladies and gentlemen, well, today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. I'm going to be looking to potentially be taking some more profits here. I may even be looking to stick in a short potentially if this does show me some potential confirmations of a reversal here. So yeah, very exciting here, guys. I think that right now we are on the verge of some of the most explosive action that we've seen in a very long time in either direction. If it's a heinous rip up, let the good times roll. If this is one gigantic fake out, wow, it could be absolutely soul crushing here, right? Could be soul crushing, but either way, I'm looking to tentatively crush it like a 2-ton man on a tuna fish can, and I will be keeping you all updated with my trade setup ideas, entries, exits, targets, positions, all exclusively for you around the clock, 24/7 in VIP. I will see you in VIP right now. Let's get this crypto. My friends, if you could one last time, Moon up the likes, moon them up, smash those thumbs, click the subscribe button, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Satoshi needs a new pair of shoes. My friends, I will see you in VIP right now. Let's get this crypto. And until next time, my friends, the Don has spoken. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. It's your boy, Crypto Kirby. Peace and love, my friends. Curbs.